So, Mark, did you see that fire that broke out at Flecha, Mark Walberg's new restaurant? It happened on the patio. I guess a fire pit sort of malfunctioned. Thankfully, no big damage. No one was hurt. And I guess they were able to reopen an hour later. Not bad.
Yeah, the pretty big flames for being an hour later. It kind of reminds me of when we were at Circa on the rooftop and my buddy leaned on the fire pit too much and it was not secured in any way and all the lava rocks started to roll. We got lucky that it went back in place. We just broke some glasses that fell. But I think that's something that's overlooked maybe when a new restaurant opens is securing the fire stuff. My joke was going to be it's a little early to start, the insurance fraud, right?
So the next chapter in the A's is happening. They are no longer the Oakland A's. They are just the A's or the Athletics. They're going to go by either name. They announced this before, so this isn't a huge thing. They are moving to Sacramento, but they are not going to take on the name of Sacramento because they say they're moving to Las Vegas. And December 5th is when they have to go to the meeting to put their financing plan finally in place. And they already have submitted some stuff saying that Fisher has the $1 billion, his family, in order to put this in there. US Bank has said that he has the funds, and they also said they have their loans guaranteed. So it seems on the surface, based on all this information, that they have the financing plan together. And I guess we'll wait till December 5th to get it officially done. But good news, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, not surprising that they want to get Oakland out of the name and they're going to kind of just leave it. It's kind of like Washington football team before they became the Commanders, just kind of like a spacer for a few years. I don't know. Do you think it'll be Vegas A's? I guess that kind of rolls off a lot better than Las Vegas A's. So Vegas A's, Vegas Athletics, kind of sounds good, like Oakland Athletics, very similar.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people don't sort of pay attention to that we have the Vegas Golden Knights. They're not the Las Vegas Golden Knights, but then the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they've already announced that it's going to be the Las Vegas Athletics or Las Vegas A's, so they're not going to do the Vegas. I
Terrible.
like that because the Golden Knights are the hometown team. They're born here.
Yeah.
They get to use Vegas. Anybody who moves from out of state, you got to use Las Vegas.
And they're both from Oakland, so they both use the same thing. That's kind of funny. But I think Vegas A's sounds really good. Las Vegas A's, more of a mouthful. I don't know. We'll get shorthanded anyway.
Yeah, and it's one of those weird things that everybody sort of calls it Vegas. Locals call it Vegas, tourists call it Vegas. So it's not like one of those things where anybody's going to fight about shortening the name.
Yeah, true. I mean, it just makes more sense.
So a lot of random stuff. We took a show off this week, so we have a lot to catch up on. And I saw this, and I didn't know about this house, the Howard Hughes House. It was interesting. I saw a tweet comparing the area in the early 50s to today, and this house still stands. It's in the KLAS Channel 8 parking lot, and that's because Howard Hughes owned that news station, and he saved this house. And they just approved a $1.5 million to move it to the Clark County Museum in Henderson. And it's so interesting watching where this house was in the 50s compared to how everything was built around it today. And I don't know, it's just one of those quirky, interesting Vegas things.
Yeah, I wish they would have been using it all this time. Like, how cool would it be if you're like the head of the news channel, you get this house out back so you can walk. You probably hate it that you're so close to work, but wouldn't it be cool if you worked there and could just kind of like stroll in, get dressed 10 minutes before you're supposed to check in for things? And it's got nice grass and everything. It's just kind of a shame it's been sitting there, but such a unique history and something quirky like only Vegas would do, where they're, hey, let's build these studios and apartments around this house and just leave it here, not do anything with it for a while. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, I really didn't know anything about this. It's amazing how, things escape our radar, and I love sharing them because if I didn't know about it, I know people out there didn't know about it. Apparently Howard Hughes never slept there or anything like that, but he did have some meetings there, and he bought half the city back then, so not a surprise he owned this house. And I'm glad they're preserving it. They need more money, they say, so we don't know when they're going to move it, and they'll have to dismantle it, so that sounds difficult.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that they're just open it up and where it's at. Let people come visit. I don't know, but yeah, when he bought it, there's nothing around it. Were they doing like mob meetings out there and stuff? They said he used it as a place to have meetings and do work. But yeah, just so kind of unique. And it was in the movie Casino when Sharon Stone went back with her like ex-loser boyfriend or all the time boyfriend. I don't know how you want to call it, but like that house and stuff. So kind of funny that they fit it in there somehow, which you wouldn't even think of. Like, oh, let's use this house just because of the history of it. And they throw it in there.
This video is sponsored by the Golden Nugget online casino app. Golden Nugget has a great deal for MTM Vegas viewers. Get $50 in site credits with a $5 minimum deposit. All you have to do is download the app and use the promo code M2M.
I love playing, when things get a little boring or mundane, or you're just kind of sitting here waiting for your plumber to show up and get all the work done that needs to be done and, pass the time while he's racking up the bills for you.
That's right. You can make any moment, like waiting for the plumber, a golden moment with the Golden Nugget online casino app. They have over 300 games, all of your favorite slots, blackjack, roulette, live dealers. And again, they're giving $50 in site credits to new customers with a $5 minimum deposit. All you have to do is use the promo code M2M.
Yeah, I've been using Golden Nugget for years now. It's safe, reliable, quick, and it gives you the Vegas experience while you're sitting at home or waiting for the plumber to come work on your pipes.
So go ahead, download the app. Thanks to Golden Nugget Online Casino for sponsoring this video. So let's do a social media roundup of videos that tickled my fancy. I don't know. Starting with Grannies Do Vegas. There's a lot of accusations that this is fake, but this is one of those TikToks
100%.
where you hand somebody a disposable camera and then they go on a trip and they take all these pictures and it's two grannies doing Vegas. I don't care if it's fake. It's great. Made me smile.
It's faker than the flag getting dropped on the Statue of Liberty, Sean.
Come on, how do you fake that? They took the pictures. They got arrested. It's like the Hangover granny style.
Yeah, it's basically just a copycat of the Hangover. I don't care if it's fake or not. It's still kind of cool. And they went around and did it. Even if the pictures are somewhat staged or they're like, hey, this is what we're doing, all of that stuff. It still took some effort and something different and fun. And I thought it was funny.
Yeah, adds good fun to the world. And on that note, the Seminole Classic casino is back. This is that casino in Florida where they did their social media interns write the TikTok video thing. And they did a second version of it. We covered the first a few weeks ago. And this one was even better. I don't know. Some parts were better. Some parts I didn't like as much. But he's selling it all along the way. And I'm all for it.
Yeah, I love I love these. I make my kids watch them. They think it's great because, you know, they're in the middle school era. So they use all these words or know these words. And I try to use them when I'm coaching their soccer team. I try to mix them in there when I'm yelling to embarrass them. So I think these are great.
That's how I found the video. I was showing the first one to my daughter and I went to their feed and I accidentally clicked on this one. I didn't know there was a second one and that's how I came across it. So yeah, the kids love this. I don't know how great it is showing kids casino videos, but that's a whole conversation for another time.
Yeah, I mean, it fits.
All right, and this next one has me perplexed because New York's new registration desk, there's a video of it, and this was the area that people said was going to be a restaurant, a bar. I asked employees over there, nobody knew what was going in there. Why they didn't simply say there was a new registration desk. Not only did dozens of people lie to us, but employees didn't know. It just seems like this was a big secret. It looks great, though. It's so crazy.
So dumb. So dumb. Yeah, we were like, how is this going to work at this new tiny desk? And then they're just rehabbing the old big, like, why wouldn't you announce that? But this gives me like anxiety because I know that people are going to walk up, see this huge desk with like 15 TVs, all these computers, a line, you know, an hour long, and there will be two people working it. And that pisses me off more than anything when you see all these available spots for people to be working and no one's working.
We'll try a little harder. Other than going through official channels, which they didn't announce anything, it was difficult. We got so much confirmation on that it has me questioning things a little bit, but there you go. So moving on, the Gold Coast has finished renovations. I know we covered when they announced they were starting maybe a year ago, something like that, and we showed some of the concepts. The Review Journal had a whole article saying that they finished the 684 hotel rooms. The pictures in the article were terrible. Somebody just took it on their iPhone, and that's the Review Journal these days, I guess. I mean, did you see those pictures? They're like blurry, and the angles are weird, and like it's just somebody snapped them on their cell phone, but they look okay. I mean, we talked, it's not going to be the fanciest thing in the world. Boyd doing a lot. Remember, they're building that new casino in Henderson. We've talked about all the Suncoast renovations. They've done a lot of their downtown casinos. And they said the Orleans is next. So after Gold Coast now done, all the rooms at the Orleans are getting a refresh as well.
Yeah, I wonder, because we talked about this, you know, with the Venetian and stuff, and Jacob when he did his video, and how it looked way darker than the whitewashed photos they were using on the website. So maybe like using the cell phone gives us a more realistic look. I don't know. It all kind of just screams 2008 Hyatt Place, you know, before they kind of updated their scheme and their color and all that stuff. So I mean, that's comfortable. It's fine. Nothing great, but I think that's kind of what they're shooting for here.
Yeah, they're not looking for anything fancy. The Orleans has always had slightly nicer rooms than Gold Coast. Gold Coast an older property, so I'll be interested to see like what they do with the rooms at the Orleans and where they peg that, you know, within their stuff. But yeah, Boyd is all over the place. Station casinos and Boyd in the local market, off-strip market, they're really exploding. They're investing heavily in all their casinos, renovating new sports books, you know, new venues all over the place, refreshing their rooms. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Orleans, you know, when I was younger, went there, ordered some drinks from the center bar, and they give me the bill, and the guy's just like, just put $1 in the machine." And I'm looking at the prices. I'm like, "It's so cheap. Do I really need to? Like, I can pay the $4 or $3 or whatever it was." They always had good prices back in the day, fun atmosphere. So hopefully these rooms kind of match all that.
Yeah, I love that place. I've been going there since it opened. I remember when it opened in its smaller form and then they eventually expanded it. All the Mardi Gras stuff, they used to hand out beads, but you have that Mardi Gras theming throughout. If anybody hasn't ever been there, take a look. Some of the bars are themed. It's not crazy levels of theming, but it's a fun place, very festive, very busy at night. It's a huge casino, a lot of energy there, and I can see why a lot of tourists like to stay there.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix of tourists and locals and everything. And I've always had fun when I'm there, and it's more affordable than stuff you'll find on the strip. And I knew a guy that every time he went on a trip, that's where he stayed, and he just loved the place. So definitely check it out.
So we have more landscaping changes to cover on the strip, and we've talked about all of the big changes: removal of trees at Bellagio, removal of water at New York, New York, and fake grass. And now Caesar's turn to do it, and they put fake grass and removed a lot of landscaping. I'll put some before and afters up, and I also have some video from a couple years ago walking that area so you can kind of see what it looked like from the pedestrian perspective. This feels very basic. I do wonder if after the F1 race, maybe we'll get a little bit more here. I don't know, but it doesn't, I don't know. It just looks so basic.
Yeah, basic, from our favorite show. No, it does. I can't blame people for bringing in the turf and stuff. And if you do it right, it looks pretty nice and all of that. But removing the trees and not having like potted plants or trees or something there to block that view. The whole point of this landscaping was to hide the ugliness of what's behind it. And now that they've taken that away, you're kind of just like stark contrast. You're walking, you look up, and there's a parking lot and there's car. It takes away from the theming, the feel of Vegas. So hopefully they do bring it back, even if they're going to leave the grass the way it is. But hopefully they bring back some type of landscaping that has, some depth and height to it.
Yeah, and was thinking about this when the story came. I didn't have a great memory of what trees were there. Just it felt right. You didn't notice everything, and it didn't feel so bare and exposed like it does now. Definitely don't have a problem with the turf. I do hope that they do something, like you say, to block that parking lot. Who knows, though? Maybe that parking lot is that's the last little bit of land I think they have left to develop in the front, and it's so valuable. It's right on the strip, so maybe long-term plans are to do something there.
Put a tent up, have another show in it. I don't know. But yeah, if you can use it, then use it. But like, let's not stare at a parking lot.
So sports betting is getting bigger and bigger in the country. I think a couple states just passed sports betting provisions, so more states are coming, which I know a lot of people in the sports betting game like, because more states means more promotions and stuff like that when they launch in new states. So look out for that. But you sent me this prop bet where the prop was 243 and a half yards. The quarterback Tua had 254 yards going in, and then it's like a last minute scenario. They're trying to lateral, do all that, and then the guy runs for a loss of 24 yards. What was he thinking? Like, where was he? Like, he just ran back. It almost seems like he did it on purpose.
Yeah, I think he was trying to like pull off the Music City Miracle, but forgot to throw it to the other side of the field or something. I don't know, but this is like all-time bad beats. But if you're on the other side of this and you bet the under, how excited are you after that? You probably turned it off already, thinking, "All right, it's over. They're just gonna, throw a Hail Mary, maybe get a penalty, all that stuff, or maybe he gets sacked, he loses some rushing yards." But you don't think that this is gonna happen. I don't think anything like this has happened. I've had a similar good beat that was kind of wild, where they were up by 4, but they needed to be up by over 7, and they strip sacked the guy and then landed on the ball as time ran out and got a touchdown to push them over. So bad beat on the other side too, but this is even like another level from that.
Piff, the Magic Dragon, that's your favorite America's Got Talent guy, but he's been at the Flamingo forever. We shouldn't even say America's Got Talent. He's really established himself as a staple here in Las Vegas. And his sidekick, Mr. Piffles, is turning 17. That's his little chihuahua. That's his sidekick in the show. I have not seen the show, but I've only heard great things. And he has to retire. Mr. Piffles is retiring. Mr. Piffles 2.0 is going to take over, and he's 2 years old. So I don't know how this is going to change the show, but I think that old dog deserves a break.
Well, the funny thing is, I read a bit about this. He did a really good interview and talked about how he was like on his last dollar and had given up and was like, "I'm going to lean into Magic, see how it works out." And he's had a couple Mr. Piffles 2.0s, and they either got too big or struggled to train. So he cloned Mr. Piffles and spent I think he said $60,000 to make the clone dog. And has all the same tendencies, and the training was like instantaneous, really good, picked up everything, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
It really is. And now he can use that on a headline, come see the cloned dog in the show at Flamingo. But yeah, seriously support this guy. He's great in the community. People love his show. I feel like he doesn't get enough coverage. He deserves more. So another story or rumor coming this week from Vital Vegas is that there are layoffs at Venetian. And it's so interesting because Sheldon Adelson passes away, Las Vegas Sands sells it, and now it's owned by Apollo. And we've seen all these changes from renovations to big screens put up to all kinds of stuff. But he's reporting that some of the big boys, the big managers there, have been laid off, maybe for cost cutting, maybe for other reasons. But the senior vice president of operations, Jamie Miranda, and also John Fetchick, the VP of national marketing, both of these people have been at the property for a very long time. So I don't know what to read of this, but it's just a reminder, Venetian is in the huge transition here.
Yeah, it's sad to see because they've been there so long and they made it a great property, being there for decades and everything. And it's a beloved property, so they must have done something right while they were there. I don't know. It gives Fontainebleau an opportunity to come in, swoop in, stop messing with Wynn. Here you go, take these people off the side of the street. Get yourself right. Bring them in. Hopefully, they find another job if they want another job. Maybe they're kind of at that age where they're like, I've had enough. But it's sad to see. But we don't know much. Is this more issues that we don't know about, that cost cutting type of stuff? Top management's the easiest way to cut costs quickly.
We have had a few comments over the times we've talked about Venetian, people saying it's not quite the same. And I know Venetian has a whole ecosystem of customers, like people that just love there. They only stay there. They love the resort aspect of it. Wynn kind of similar in that way. But I wonder, anybody out there, if you are a Venetian person, have you noticed changes at the property staying there? I've stayed there this year. I stayed there last year. I've stayed there, almost every year over the last 4 or 5 years. But I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not so heavily invested in the ecosystem there. So I wonder, on every level, if you're somebody who spends a ton of time gambling and staying there, if you've noticed differences with the hedge fund ownership versus Las Vegas Sands. I feel like maybe the spirit of Venetian has gone, but it's still like a great place, and we're getting a food hall, Mark, so who can complain?
Food court or food hall. I don't want to upset anybody. No, I mean, that's what we see when, hedge funds or, with Cosmo, it becoming a public company, when it was independently owned before, and it changes there. It just doesn't have the same vibe. Same with Wynn to a point, you lose the figurehead or the person that had the vision of it. Maybe it slips a little bit. I think they've done better than most keeping it up. But as it transitions from somebody's baby to just another thing they own in a portfolio, it's not going to get the same type of love and care.
Yeah, I wonder which bean counter walked through that colonnade, that area in the lobby, that huge walkway where there's not much there, and said, we need to maximize use of the space to drive revenue, food hall. That's where I think it comes from, even though I'm excited about the concept, just making sure every little area is maximized. And that's it. But yeah, I still love the place, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Are you worried about this, or, is this just Vegas? I mean, management turns over. We've talked about so many management turnovers in the last couple of years. So I think the train will continue to roll on. And our final story comes another from Vital Vegas. Scott's really been killing it, breaking a lot of these stories. People give him a hard time for some of his rumors, but he is one of the best on the ground reporters in Las Vegas. He got a leaked memo for the Delano to W transition. And to start, thanks to Whoops on Twitter sending me pictures, they started taking down the Delano sign already. So we have a couple different phases, including the word no. They just left the word no up on the building.
Yeah, what a great name. Whoops. I think that's I'm like, did you read it wrong? But no, perfect. Yeah, I think, the W will look nice. The stuff we've seen as far as concept art and everything, I think will fit really well with the building, with the brand, all that stuff. You won't really notice it. Kind of how Delano was in my opinion. It kind of just blended in.
So here's what they're going to do now that we have this information over the next few years. So it's going to take all the way through 2028 for this to finally be done. But by December, it will be the W Las Vegas. So that'll start this year, December. That's why they're taking down the sign. We also learned that MGM Resorts will operate it. So nothing's going to change from the way it's operated, basically. It's just going to change the name. No changes for employees, anything else like that. That's all good. But they are going to renovate the whole property, including the entrance, the lobby, their coffee bar. They're going to have a new food and beverage lobby lounge concept. I'm guessing that's going to go where Della's Kitchen was. Also the front desk, basically everything. And then in 2027, they're going to start doing the rooms. And then when those are all done by 2028, we'll have the new W Las Vegas with everything. But it's good to know we're going to get full room refreshes, full public space refreshes. So this will be a completely transformed property in a few years.
I don't think it needs all that. I thought the public spaces were really nice, maybe a bit dark, and I thought the rooms were nice. I think you could just add some color to it, some pops of color here and there, maybe bring in some new furniture and stuff. I don't think it needs this whole thing. Definitely not like 3 years worth of upkeep, but I guess it's good. Brings people back, gets people excited about it, something new to see. Hopefully they do it in the right way and make a great property, that one that's already great, even better.
Yeah, I think they will. And I think they made an emphasis on in this document of saying they're bringing everything up to W brand standards. Not to say that Delano wasn't nice enough to be a W, but these brands do have color palettes and design languages and all of that sort of stuff. And maybe, it's been a while since Delano, so maybe MGM felt it was time to do this. And so that's how they did it. Maybe there was a contract in place. I haven't seen any reporting on how exactly that happened. As a reminder, we're still waiting to find out what's going to happen with NoMad. Hilton bought NoMad Hotels and said that this property is not part of that and that it will be rebranded. So we're still waiting to find out what happens there. Maybe now that they've announced Delano, we'll finally find out what's going to happen to NoMad.
Hopefully after my stay.
Yeah, you don't want the library to be rethemed yet.
No, I definitely want to spend some time in there. So I hope all that, and I mean, it's only a couple weeks away, so I don't think anything's going to happen. Even if they make an announcement, nothing's going to change. So I'm glad to get one more time, before it goes away.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. The Howard Hughes House, Caesars removing the trees, Delano, the rebrand. Are you excited for the W Las Vegas? Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Like we said, we took Tuesday off this week, but we'll be back in full force next week with 2 shows. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Better believe I want the library open. I got $250 in food comps to spend.
All right, you can buy me a drink.
Yeah. Have a good weekend, everybody.